Welcome! Today we're diving into a really key piece of GPU virtualization tech. It's totally changing how we share some of the most powerful hardware out there, NVIDIA's multi-instance GPU, or what everyone calls MIG.
Okay, before we jump right in, we have to go through a quick but really important note. What you're seeing here is Module 4 of a much bigger tutorial. It's meant for general information only, so please don't take it as specific technical, legal, or financial advice. And we are going to touch on licensing later, which is a super complex topic, so you'll definitely want to do your own homework there. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into it.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the big problem that MIG was built to solve in the first place. Then, we'll pop the hood and see how the tech actually works, how you can put it to use, and even look at some pretty advanced setups. And finally, we'll talk about something crucial, navigating the licensing maze.
All right, first up, to really get why a solution is so great, you have to understand the problem it's solving. And when you're sharing really powerful resources, you create a huge challenge. How do you guarantee performance? And this is it, the classic noisy neighbor problem. Just imagine you're running a super important AI app, and then someone else on that same shared GPU decides to kick off a gigantic training job. Boom! Suddenly, your app's performance just falls off a cliff. That kind of unpredictability is exactly what MIG is here to fix.
So, how does NVIDIA's multi-instance GPU actually tackle this problem? Well, it brings a totally different way of thinking about how we share a GPU. At its core, MIG isn't just about sharing in turns. It's about physically splitting the hardware right at the silicon level. It takes one giant GPU and literally carves it into up to 7 smaller independent pieces. And the key here is that each one is completely isolated. The operating system actually sees each one as its own separate GPU.
This really shows you the main difference. On the left, you've got traditional vGPU, which is basically software telling everyone to take turns using the GPU. But on the right, you have MIG, which uses hardware to give everyone their own guaranteed slice of the pie. It's like the difference between a one-lane road where everyone has to wait versus a highway where everyone gets their own private lane.
So how does MIG pull off this incredible isolation? Well, it dedicates actual hardware. Each little instance gets its own chunk of memory, its own L2 cache, and its own compute resources. There's a hardware scheduler that makes sure one instance's work can't possibly mess with another's. That's the secret sauce for truly predictable performance.
Okay, so that's the theory. But how does this actually play out when you're building and running real applications? Let's get practical.
The real beauty of MIG is just how flexible it is. You can set up the whole GPU as one monster instance for a huge training job, or you could slice it into 2 or 3 big instances for your development teams. You can even carve it up into 7 smaller instances, which is just perfect for running a bunch of separate AI inference models at the same time. And get this, these setups aren't set in stone. You could have a GPU running with 7 small instances for an inference service during the day, and then, without even rebooting the server, change it on the fly to 2 giant instances for a heavy training job overnight. It's incredibly adaptive. So this means MIG really shines in a few specific areas. It's the perfect tool for production AI, where you absolutely need guaranteed quality of service. It's also ideal for secure cloud environments where you have multiple tenants. And it's a fantastic solution for dev teams that need their own dedicated GPU resources but don't need a whole physical card to themselves. But MIG doesn't have to be a solo act. It's not an all-or-nothing kind of deal. You can actually combine it with other virtualization tech to build even more powerful, layered systems. Yeah, just think of MIG as a foundational building block. You can use MIG to partition the hardware first, and then on top of that, you decide how you want to serve up those hardware-isolated slices to your VMs or containers. It creates this really flexible, layered model.
So, the first recipe is simple. MIG plus pass-through. You take one of those hardware-isolated MIG instances and you pass it directly to a virtual machine. That VM gets exclusive access to that slice of the GPU. This is the absolute best you can get for security and performance guarantees when you have multiple tenants on one GPU.
Now for recipe number 2, layering vGPU on top of MIG. Here, you take one of those hardware-isolated MIG instances, and then you use software-based vGPU to share that one slice among several VMs. This kind of gives you the best of both worlds. You get that rock-solid hardware isolation between different groups of users, but you get much higher density within a single group. It's a really powerful way to balance security and efficiency.
Okay, you've seen the power, you've seen the flexibility, but
Before you go off and start designing your new system, there's a non-technical but totally critical topic we have to cover, and that's licensing. This quote from the source material really just says it all. I mean, this isn't some side note. It is a central part of your planning. Getting the tech right, but messing up the licensing can be a huge, even project-killing mistake.
The big takeaway here is that licensing isn't just one thing. It's a whole stack. You have to check the terms for the GPU hardware itself, for your hypervisor, for any vGPU software you're using, for the guest operating systems, and even for your container platforms. Every single one of these layers has its own rules you've got to follow.
So let's wrap this all up. What's the one thing you should really take away from this? MIG is NVIDIA's answer to that noisy neighbor problem. It uses hardware partitioning to give you deterministic, predictable, and super secure performance, especially for those critical multi-tenant workloads.
And that leaves us with a final question to think about. As AI and other GPU-heavy workloads just keep getting more and more common, is this kind of hardware-level partitioning going to become the new standard for how we share these incredible resources? It's definitely something to chew on as you plan your own next-gen infrastructure.